Hello students, how are you? How are your vacations? I hope you all had a good time with your friends and family. Okay students, so here is an image. Just copy down the things that you can notice in the image. Just copy it down quickly. So you would have copied the things in the form of words like bed, table, chair, etc. Right? Okay, so here is another image. Now just copy down the things that you notice in this image. You would have copied down the things in the form of numbers like 4 triangles, 4 rectangles, 5 stars, etc. So when we collect information in form of numerical figures or numbers, that is known as data. And when this data is represented or noted down in a meaningful way, that is known as data handling. Now in today's video we will learn about chapter 13, that is data handling, and under this we will learn how to represent data in the form of tally marks, in the form of bar graphs and pie charts. We will also learn how to analyze and interpret data with the help of bar graphs and pie charts. Let's start with tally marks. Now tally marks is used for counting the number of things. And how do we add the tally marks? So we add vertical lines to represent one tally mark. So when we are counting the things, 4 items will be represented by 4 straight vertical lines, and then the 5th item will be represented by cutting this 4 lines, that is diagonally. So the 5th item will be represented by making a diagonal line across first 4 vertical lines. Now how will we represent the 6th item? Again the 6th item will be represented by a straight vertical line, and that will be followed by 7th, 8th and 9th item. Now you will follow the same step for the 10th item that we did for the 5th item, that is we will cross a diagonal line across the 4 vertical lines. So the 5th item will be explained using a diagonal tally mark, and the 10th item will also be represented by using a diagonal line that will be added across 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th item. Let's understand tally marks with the help of a question. So here we have a question which says a dice is thrown 30 times and the observations are recorded in the form of a raw data. Now what is raw data? When the data is collected without being arranged in any particular order. So here we have the observation, that is 6, 5, 1, 3, 2, 6, 2, 5, 6 and so on. Now here you notice that the numbers are from 1 to 6. Now this is the table that we require. First we will mention observation, tally marks and frequency. So under observation we will write the numbers from 1 to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now as per the observation we will add the tally marks. So first number is 6. So we will add one tally mark under 6. Next is 5. So we will add the tally mark against 5. Next is 1. We will add one tally mark across 1. Next is 3, 2, 6. First we will add one tally mark against 3, then 2 and then 6. Next we have 2, 5 and 6. So again across 2 we will add one tally mark, across 5 1 and then 6. Then we have 4, 5, 6. So across 4 we will add one tally mark, across 5 we will add another and then across 6. So now for your convenience you can just cross the digits that you have considered, okay. So here I have considered all these digits. Next we have 1, 2 and 4. So let's add the tally mark against 1, 2 and 4. So let's cross the digits 1, 2 and 4. Next we have 5, 2 and 3. So here we will add one tally mark against 5, next against 2 and next against 3. So let's cancel 5, 2 and 3. Further we have 1, 6. So we will add one tally mark against 1 and next tally mark against 6. Now notice here we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fifth tally mark will be formed diagonally, cutting the previous 4. So let's cancel 1 and let's cancel 6. Next we have 2, 1 and 3. So we will add the tally marks. So against 2 we see here we have 4 marks. So we will cross 2, 1 and 3. So let's cancel these digits. Next we have 5, 6 and 2. So add the tally mark against 5. Here we have 4. So we will add the fifth one. 5, 6. Then we have 2. So against 2 I am adding 1 tally bar. Next I have 1, 1, 3, 3. So let's add 1, then 1 more. Then for 3, we are left with one last observation. We will cross this. Now after forming the tally marks, we will count the number of tally marks and put it against frequency. So here let's count. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth is the diagonal one and plus 1, 6. So here I will write 6. Similarly for the second observation, it will be 5 plus 1, 6. For 3 it is 1, 2, 3, 4 and the fifth, that is the diagonal one, 5. For 4 it is 2. For 5 it is 5 and for 6 it is 5 plus 1, 6. Now here you will write total and you will add the number of frequency. So 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 5 is 17, 17 plus 2 is 19, 19 plus 5 is 24 and 24 plus 6 is 30. So here you have to notice that the total of the frequency should be equal to the total number of observations. So here we have 30 and here also we have 30. So in this way we have represented this data in the form of tally marks and it is organized in a much better way. So we can represent data in the form of tally marks. How? You first have to make a table. Under table you will first write observation, then tally marks and then frequency. Now for observation you will notice how are the numbers ranging. Like here the numbers are ranging from 1 to 6. So here I have added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I have added the tally marks and then I have calculated the frequency. Students, we learned how to record the repeated occurrence of particular observation in the form of table. Now let's learn how to represent this table in the form of a bar graph. Now what is a bar graph? A bar graph is used to represent numerical data in the form of bars of equal width. A bar graph is represented in such a form. There are two axes, horizontal axis and vertical axis, and these are the bars that represent the data. Now the data can be represented on any of the axes, either on the horizontal axis or on the vertical axis. Now we will take the previous example, that was the example of the dice, and we will represent that table in the form of bar graph. So here we have the table representing the data. So here we have the observation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is the number that occurred on the dice, and this is the frequency. Now let's represent this data in the form of a bar graph. Now either you can represent observation on the horizontal axis and frequency on the vertical axis, or you can do it other way around. Here I am placing observation on the horizontal axis. So what I will do, first I will write observation here with the arrows on both the ends. Okay, that means the horizontal axis is representing the observation. Second, now the vertical axis is used to represent frequency. So I will write frequency against the vertical axis. So like this I will write frequency and I will make the arrows. Now let's place the data. First, under observation we have the numbers from 1 to 6. So here first I will mark the blocks with the distance of 1 centimeter. You can use your ruler and mark the distance of 1 centimeter. So this is 1, like this I have marked. with the distance of 1 centimeter. Now let's mark the blocks. So this is for 1, this is for 2, 3, 4. Since the line is short, you can extend it. This is for 5 and further for 6. Okay, now here since there is not enough space, when you are marking it in your notebook, you have to be careful that the blocks should be of equal width, that is of 1 centimeter. Now after doing this much, the second important thing is that you have to mention the scale. So at the top of your notebook you will write scale and then you will write horizontal axis. Now on the horizontal axis we have taken 1 centimeter equals to the observation. So 1 centimeter is equal to observation. Now vertical axis is equal to 1 centimeter, which is equal to 1 frequency, right? Now against the vertical axis we will add the values of the frequency. So the frequency is going up to 6 and it is starting from 2. So I can write frequency from 1 and take it up to 6. So here I am writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. Now let's represent this data. Now under observation 1, the frequency is 6. So I will make a bar which goes up to number 6. So you will take your ruler and draw a straight line and make a bar. So for observation 1, the frequency is 6. Similarly for observation 2, the frequency is 6 again. Again I will use the ruler and make a bar up to 6. Okay. Now for 3, the observation is 5. So I will make the bar up to the number 5 here. Now similarly you will do for 4, 5 and 6. For 4 the bar is up to 2. So 2 is here, so I will make the bar up to this length. Now for 5 it is going up to 5. So it will be somewhere here. And for 6 it reaches up to 6. So this way I have represented this data in the form of a bar graph. So here I have bars of equal width representing this data. So what you have to notice that either of the information can be represented on the horizontal axis or on the vertical axis. First thing. Second thing is you have to mention the scale. And third, when you are mentioning the blocks, that should be of equal length. Now as we can represent data using a bar graph, we can also interpret a data using a bar graph. So here we have a question which says, read the following bar graph and answer the following questions. So here we have the questions and here we have a bar graph. Now this bar graph is representing certain data. So when we notice, it's representing the marks scored by students A, B, C and D. Okay, now let's read the first question which says, who scored maximum marks? That is, which student scored maximum marks? Now when you look at the bar graph, which bar is the tallest? The bar against B is tallest. That means B scored maximum marks. So the answer to this question will be B. Similarly, let's read the second question. That is, how many marks did A get? That is, how much marks did A score? Now again look at the bar graph. Now look at the bar against A and notice how much marks did A score. So this bar is going up to 400. That means A scored 400 marks. So the answer for B question is 400 marks. Let's read the third question. That is, how many more marks did D get than C? That means how much more marks did D score than C? Let's notice the marks scored by D and C. So D scored 400 marks and C scored 300 marks. So the score for D is 400 and the score for C is 300. So when we need to find who scored more marks, we will subtract, that is 400 minus 300. So we get the answer as 100. So D scored 100 more marks than C. So with the help of this bar graph, we have answered certain questions. So in this way, you can interpret data using a bar graph. Now after bar graph, let's learn about another type of data representation, that is pie chart or circle graph. Now pie chart is a circular graph that represents data in the form of sectors, and each sector is a part of whole circle, and each sector is proportional to the size of the data that it represents. So this is a pie chart and it is in the form of a circle. Now let's understand this concept with the help of an example. Okay, so here we have a question which says, the following table shows the favorite sport of 48 students. Now you need to represent this data in the form of a pie chart. Now to represent it in the form of a pie chart, we need to draw a circle. Now here we have a table that tells the sport and the number of students. So for cricket, now cricket is a favorite sport for 12 students, football is a favorite sport for 24 students, tennis is liked by 6 students, and hockey is liked by 6 students. Now the first step is you will represent the number of students in a fraction form to the total number of students. Now the total number is 48. So the students liking cricket is 12. So the fraction will be 12 by 48. Now you can simplify this fraction. How? 12 and 48 can be cancelled. So 1 by 4, right? Now next we have football. Football is liked by 24 students. Now you have to represent this in the form of a fraction. So I will write 24 upon 48. That becomes 1 by 2. Similarly, I will do for other two sports, that is tennis and hockey. So it will be 6 by 48 and again 6 by 48. So when we simplify 6 by 48, we get 1 by 8. Similarly, it will be for hockey, 6 by 48, when simplified it becomes 1 by 8. So here we have the fractions 1 by 4, 1 by 2, that is half, 1 by 8 and 1 by 8. First we will mark 1 by 4th in this circle, that is 1/4 of this circle, right? So 1/4 is for cricket. So I will mark cricket here. I will mark an arrow and I will write cricket. Now next is football. Football is liked by half, right? So I will mark half of this circle as football. So this is half of the circle. So it will be marked as 1 by 2 and I will mark it as football. Next I have 1 by 8 and 1 by 8. Now the total of 1/8 plus 1/8 is 1/4. So that means 1/4 is divided into 2 equal parts. So I will divide this into 2 equal parts. So this is 1 by 8 and the other part is also 1 by 8. So one is for tennis and the other one is for hockey. So in this way we have represented this table in the form of a pie chart. So first what you will do, you will write the numbers in the form of a fraction, that is the given quantity divided by the total quantity. So here the total quantity was 48. So I have done 12 by 48. Similarly we will repeat this for the other 3 sports. So I got the required fraction and then I will divide the circle in the given fraction. So in this way we can represent a data in the form of a pie chart. Now let's interpret the data using a pie chart. So here we have a question which says the following pie chart represents the number of hours a family of 5 watches TV. So here we have a pie chart and here they have mentioned grandma, mom, dad, son and daughter. Now here we have 2 questions. The first one is who watches the TV for most hours? So here the maximum part is occupied by grandma. So that means grandma watches the TV for most number of hours. So the answer for the first question is grandma. Now coming to the second question, that is who watches the TV for least hours? Now, who is occupying the least space or least sector in this circle? Sun is occupying the least space. So, the answer to this question is Sun. So, in this way, you can interpret the data using a pie chart and you can answer the given questions. So, students, in today's video, we learned all about representation and interpretation of data. We learned how to represent data in the form of tally marks, in the form of bar graph, and also in the form of pie chart. Now, under tally marks, we learned how to represent the tally marks. So, the first 4 tally marks for 4 items will be represented as vertical lines, and for the 5th item we will put a diagonal line crossing the previous 4 tally marks. Next, we learn how to represent and interpret data using a bar graph. Now, in a bar graph there are 2 axes, horizontal axis and vertical axis, and the data is represented using bars of equal width. Finally, we learn how to represent and interpret data using a pie chart. Now, a pie chart is also known as a circular graph because we represent it in the form of a circle, and the circle is divided into various sectors. So, that's all for the topic of data handling. Thank you everyone. Take care.